Hi, I'm Barbora. Thank you for your interest in our study. I'm excited to tell you about our experiment investigating the role of common knowledge in helping. We all know that humans are remarkably helpful, or I hope that we all experience that every day. Over the course of development, children increasingly engage in prosocial behavior even at a personal cost. Helping behavior is a fascinating topic as it's shaped by cognitive, social, and motivational factors. Although the presence of helping behavior in young children have been well documented in the recent years, the motivations underlying acts of helping are still widely debated. One suggested mechanism, at least behind instrumental helping, is goal slippage. That's the child recognizes the goal of another person, the child forms the goal and then treats the goal as her own. Others have argued that helping behavior can also be motivated by self-oriented concerns, for example by motivation to engage with others. Several other authors have argued children's helping behavior is based on genuine concern for others' well-being. A positive relation between sympathy and helping, both in kids and adults, provides further support for the idea that at least some helping is motivated by concern for others' well-being. However, helping is also sometimes performed out of sense of obligation. We help because we feel we ought to help. Sense of obligation can be second personal, that is, the obligation is directed to a particular person. Or it can be more general and based on societal norms such as one should always help when one can. The idea behind this study is that the obligation felt is likely especially strong when there is common knowledge between the helper and the helpee that the helpee needs help. Common knowledge is the ability to know something together with someone else. Imagine a young man is sitting in a crowded bus and an injured woman enters. The young man on this picture is Sebastian Gruneisen, my collaborator, and the injured woman is me. Sebastian knows he should offer his seat, but he would prefer to sit himself. He is tired, so the help is costly. However, once we make eye contact or I say loudly, "I wish I could sit down," we create common knowledge about my need to sit down. So the intuition is that the sense of obligation to help is modified by common knowledge. Because under the conditions of common knowledge, my need is mutually manifest, and this heightens the pressure on Sebastian to offer his seat. Two separate lines of research suggest that young children sometimes act out of sense of obligation. For example, they help longer if they have promised to help, and they have some understanding of common knowledge. It seems like even one-year-old infants are sensitive to what they know together with others. However, it's only around 4 to 6 years that children can use common knowledge to solve coordination problems. Although some studies of adults have explored the role of common knowledge in coordination and helping contexts using economic games and vignettes, no previous studies in adults or children investigated whether participants actively modify their own helping depending on whether they have common knowledge with the helpee about the helpee's need. So our question in the present study is whether in a situation of helping, common knowledge that the person needs help provides additional motivation beyond sympathy or other motives for helping. In other words, is children helping behavior affected by having common knowledge with the person who needs help? To answer this question, we tested 100 6-year-old children. During the test, children faced a dilemma in which they needed to choose between collecting more stickers for themselves or helping an injured experimenter. In a between-subject design, we manipulated the type of knowledge that children achieved about the fact that the experimenter needed their help. Children had either private or common knowledge. Crucially, in both conditions, children themselves knew that their help is needed. We measured whether this manipulation affected children's helping behavior. Our measure was a combination of binary response, helping, no helping, and latency to help. We predicted that the probability of helping is higher in the common knowledge condition. Let me now walk you through the procedure. There is an injured experimenter on the right side of the picture, that's me, and the child and the assistant on the left side of the picture. First, we manipulated knowledge between the child and me about the hearing or not hearing together. Once we are in the same quiet room, we have common knowledge about the co-presence, and we can assume that we all can hear the same things, especially if they are loud and salient. To block this automatic common knowledge, the assistant gave children headphones with no sound playing in them. To introduce the manipulation, the assistant told the children, "When you wear headphones, everyone thinks that you cannot hear." In the common knowledge condition, she continued, "Except Barbora, she knows that you can hear everything." At this moment, I was attentive and looking at the direction where the child and the assistant were sitting to establish common knowledge between me and the child. I announced that I would leave the room and added, I do know that you can hear me," while looking at the child. In the individual knowledge condition, the assistant said, "Barbora doesn't know that you can hear everything." In this condition, first I was not attentive to what the assistant said. Then I announced that I would leave. As if just realizing it, I said, "Oh right, you are wearing headphones and you can't hear me at all," while looking at the child. Then I left the room and the assistant introduced a sticker box to children. Children learn that they can collect as many stickers as they want, but once they leave the box, the door of the box will close and they cannot access the stickers anymore. When the test phase started, the child was briefly alone in the room sitting behind a barrier and started to collect the stickers. We used the barrier to prevent the visual common knowledge and positioned the barrier in such a way that children could see when someone enters the room but could not see the chair. Then I entered, the injured experimenter, and engaged in eye contact with children and then walked to the chair. Then I provided a series of auditory cues, revealing that I need help to move the box of a chair. In the private knowledge condition, children knew that I needed help individually, but in the common knowledge condition, children could assume that we both know this together. However, my cues were the same in both conditions. Our measure was whether children help or not help and latency to help. Children had approximately 1 minute to decide whether to continue collecting stickers or provide help. I would like to show you short videos of the test phase. First video is an individual condition. The video starts after I entered the room, engaged in eye contact with the child and then started to walk to the chair.
Da steht ja jetzt eine Kiste. Ich will mich dort hinsetzen. Ich kann die Kiste nicht allein wegtun. Oh, mein Bein tut weh. Alles ist wieder gut.
Let's look at the common knowledge condition now. The video again starts after I entered the room, engaged in eye contact with the child, and then stood in front of the chair.
Ich kann mich ja gar nicht auf den Stuhl setzen, weil die Kiste da steht. Oh, danke schön.
Our question was if the probability of helping differed between conditions. To answer this, we used a survival analysis, which allows for the estimation of the probability of helping from two variables, whether and how quickly children helped. We found that the probability of helping in the common knowledge condition was more than 100% higher than the probability of helping in the private knowledge condition. On this graph, you can see the latency to help. On the left side, we see the common knowledge condition, and on the right side, we see the individual knowledge condition. Black circles represent children who helped, and empty circles those who did not. What we can see here, for example, that below this 0.2, which is 12 seconds, no children helped in the individual knowledge condition, but some children did in the common knowledge condition. So the distribution is shifted in latency, but also in numbers of children who helped overall. This is clear when we have a look at the descriptive data as well. That is, in the common knowledge condition, more children helped, and they helped faster. So, to sum up, when children face the dilemma of pursuing their own self-interest, gaining stickers, versus helping the experimenter, children's helping was influenced by the type of knowledge state they had about the experimenter's need for help. Because in both conditions, children and the experimenter both knew that the help was needed, and the presence and the behavior of the experimenter was identical, this study demonstrates that it was specifically the common knowledge between children and the experimenter that affected children's prosociality. In contrast, if children had been motivated to help purely based on sympathy, their help should have been the same in both conditions. Because in both cases, they could hear the cues that help was needed equally well, and the cues were the same. Several other mechanisms potentially driving helping behavior, such as motivation to interact with others or to be rewarded, or adopting the other's goal as one's own, or retaining a positive self-image as a helpful person, cannot explain the difference in helping either, as they should have affected both conditions equally. This is not to say that the concern for others' well-being or other motivations did not play any role. However, helping increased significantly once the fact that the help was needed was common knowledge. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you for listening. Thanks to my former department in Leipzig, where we conducted the study, to funders, collaborators, and children who participated. I'm looking forward to discuss your questions.